if you've ever tried to play Magneto and you're like, bro, this character just feels awful. This character sucks. It's not just you. The character feels awful for a lot of reasons. I mean, he's slow, he's clunky, he doesn't pump out as much damage as the other heroes. I mean, the character is just like, what is he? Well, don't worry, because I've been there and I've done that. By the end of this video, you're gonna be one of the best Magneto players you and your friends I've ever seen. As I said before, Magneto feels awful for a lot of reasons. However, one of the main reasons why Magneto feels so awful is because his character design is different from a lot of the other characters in the game. Magneto is a tank, but Magneto is a poke tank. This means when you're playing poke tanks in any game, they don't necessarily have a lot of the frontline presence that the other heroes might have. As an example, if Doctor Strange walks up to you, you know to kind of walk back, but Magneto doesn't really do a lot of damage. So when he walks up, you're not that afraid. It's, you know, he's just a poke character. So how do you command that presence? What do you do? How do you carry games with Magneto? Well, we're gonna watch this replay here and we're gonna discuss how to get better at Magneto, how to start carrying with Magneto, because he is one of the best tanks in the game for a reason. And I wanna teach you exactly how to abuse that. As always, if you guys would like your own replay reviewed, make sure you answer that highlighted pinned comment down below. You'll get your replay reviewed. Because this is a new season, anyone who's commented on replays before, I can't watch your replays. So we're starting today, and the replays forward, you're gonna have to put season 3 replays in there. When you're playing Magneto, you want to play him similar to like a DPS. That's like the best way I can put it when it comes to positioning and when it comes to trying to do damage on specific targets. You have to position yourself in a way so that way you're in cover and you're not all out in the open. It's a very weird playstyle, but once you get used to how Magneto plays, you'll start to realize how much power this character actually holds. So you see how you're kind of like initially trying to tank. You don't really want to do that. You do want to keep your distance. You do want to stay safe. You're not trying to push forward and command that presence. What Magneto does to command presence is using his abilities as a poke tank. Magneto actually does a lot more damage at range than many of the other heroes and tanks in the game. He is a poke character. So a lot of what you're doing is commanding space with your projectiles. You're not trying to walk up and scare them back. You're trying to put damage onto them so they walk back. The better you get at landing your shots, the more damage this character actually does. The problem is landing your shots. Because his shots are so wonky and weird, you might end up missing them more than you would land them. So with your abilities, just a basic rundown. This ability does a lot of damage and it knocks players back. This ability is a great way to shield from incoming damage, very basic. This also is a barrier that you can put on your team, and this is a barrier that you can put on yourself. These two share the same ability. Once the barrier is broken down, it will fill this bar here, which allows you to do max damage with, again, your right click, as you see down there. Very simple character, it is not hard at all. When it comes to using your abilities, you want to identify, is there anyone you want to save your abilities for? So do you need to save your knockback? So let's actually ask this question real quick. And we'll go to the wall, because you guys know I like drawing. Y'all know. So we'll go to the wall real quick and we'll ask ourselves this quick little question. And this actually goes for a lot of heroes, not just Magneto. Are there any heroes that I need to save abilities for? Well, when we look at this here, we can see that, do I need to say, like, what are the main things you have? You have the knockback, which is also damage. You have your shield, which blocks anything, and then you have your barrier. So those are the things that you want to think about, and that removes you from CC. So if we're talking about our knockback, do we need to knock back anyone? Yeah, we would need to knock back Wolverine, right? You could use it for damage, but the knockback is more valuable than the damage, in my opinion. What do we need to use for the shield? So it's not really a shield. What do they call it? A curtain? It's not really a shield, but it is. But I'm gonna just call it a curtain. What do we use for our curtain? When we're talking about the curtain, is there anything on the team that is a very big damage-oriented ability where you need to block it with it? Not really. If anything, the cloak and dagger curtain, but I mean, that will hit you regardless. So yeah, there's not really anything. You can kind of just spam it. So you can spam, use for space. And then the next thing here will be, what was the other one? Your barrier. So what do we need to use that for? Most likely Wolverine. So realistically, the only things that we're paying attention to is Wolverine. The rest of the game is just free money. You can play this game however you want, but in terms of your knockback and your barrier, if Wolverine is on the field, you need to make sure that you're saving your abilities for that and not just spamming them all over the place. You'll get run over. So if we take a look, Wolverine's right there in front of us, which means we should not be using our barrier and we should not be using our knockback. So how do we deal with this though? How do we command space if we're a poke tank and we're saving our abilities for specific situations? How does Magneto command that space? One of the main things you want to do is you want to learn to kite. So what is kiting? Let's just kind of add this here just for visual. What is kiting? So what is kiting? This is a term that's used in a lot of MOBA games, but when it comes to kiting is you're moving backwards, keeping distance. So every hero away from you is going to have a safe distance. This is going to be a distance where they become dangerous. When does Wolverine become dangerous? Once he's in melee range. So if you could kite him and always keep that space, that buffer between you two, you're always damaging him and he's never doing any damage to you. So let's play this out. You see how you're walking into him? You can do damage without getting close. So what I would like to see here is you to just go this way. You start firing, boom, boom, boom. And should he start walking to you, you start walking this way. And you keep that space, and you're gonna eventually KO the target. But you see how you're just walking into him? That's not how you play Magneto. Luckily the guy whiffed and you didn't have to burn anything. But if you wouldn't have, you would have been grabbed for sure. So in an instance like this, you see how you're trying to hold your ground? It is a very weird concept, but you don't do this. You have to back up. You have to give space to take space when it comes to Magneto. I mean, a lot of the characters, I lied. A lot of these other heroes have a way to kind of avoid it or like jump or fly or move. Magneto's very stationary. If they walk up to you, you gotta walk back. As you do damage, remember your damage is the spacing, you can start walking forward. Here, we should have been walked back. We don't really want to hold this spot because you're gonna get KO'd. There's nothing you can do. Like you were never gonna survive that. He's not designed to. You have to give up that space every single time. So you're pushing, you're putting your abilities off. Cool, cool, cool. Again, let's look at it from high so that way we can think about the space between the characters. Okay. Oops, we're still on the wall. All right, here we go. Wolverine's behind you. Don't really trip too much off that. They can handle Wolverine. So Wolverine's now in your face. If we were talking about kiting, what should we do? We should definitely choose to back ourselves up. 1000% of the time. We want to keep that buffer there. We want to keep that space there. So let's see what happens. Do we back up or do we just kind of sit there? You see how we're sitting there? We're trying to push. We should be backing up. We need to give the space to play this character. You ult to command presence, which is fine. You don't necessarily always need to ult like supports when they ult. It really just depends. It's perfectly okay. But I noticed that using a defensive ult is way better than using an offensive ult. Doctor Strange is still there. Don't be afraid to attack tanks. A lot of people think with Magneto, you need to just focus on that backline. That's not true. You need to focus on the priority target. At this particular moment, Strange isn't necessarily preventing the cart from moving, but if you guys can take out one of their tanks, what happens? The game becomes drastically easier, right? Because then there's one tank against two. So it's perfectly okay to just focus the Strange instead of trying to focus their backline, especially because the dude is right next to you. Light this guy up. Stand right here, light that guy up. Boom, boom, boom. You're in cover. You don't have to worry about anything, and Wolverine is not even close to you. When it comes to Magneto, the target selection is key. You get grabbed, you barrier. Remember, space yourself. You gotta move back every single time. You see how you're just sitting there. Don't really worry about chasing kills with this character. His shots are very inconsistent, and it's not really you. It's just hard to land his shots. So trying to chase KOs is just not gonna do it. You might as well just go back and try to play objective. I would like to see you go up here and command space, because when they start walking out, boom, light them up, boom, boom, boom. And you're gonna try to zone them. This is what we call zoning. When you're commanding a space and they have to approach you, this is what we're calling zoning. So we'll just add that to a little thing over here. So What is zoning? Preventing players from moving forward. If you're zoning them, you're preventing them from getting into an area that you have. You want to keep them away. It's kind of like a danger zone. So if you're here, right, and you're shooting them, they need to figure out a way to get to you. If you can KO them before they reach you, they have to like go to the left, or they have to go to the right, or they're just gonna sit there and just take it. That is a great way to make Magneto more effective because they're in a choke. They're in a spot where it's very hard for you to miss. If you miss these type of shots, you shouldn't miss these shots. It's too much in a choke for you. But we're not using Magneto to that efficiency. You see, you could have prevented all this from happening by just already standing here and shooting them. Again, you're trying to command and hold that space. It is perfectly fine to just walk back. The only time you're walking forward with Magneto, generally speaking, is if you can land a KO. So let's just say you know she's gonna get KO'd and you don't want her to walk out your range. Walk at her. 1, 2, KO. Right? It's a reason, but you're just walking forward to just like try to scare them or push them back, and it just doesn't work with this character. You see, you don't do anything with it, and you just get yourself out of position and you just get KO'd. This is why that spacing is really important when it comes to playing this character, more than any other tank in this game, in my opinion. It is a very weird play style, and it's a very slow play style. But once you get that play style down, that is going to be something that will make your gameplay drastically improve. If you're someone who still struggles with spacing, whether it be for Magneto or any other character in the game, because every character requires spacing, it's just different for each one, make sure you sign up for a free replay review down below. If you have not, members, you do get priority, so members will be first in line for a replay review, so just keep that in mind. And of course, for those of you that would like a more hands-on one-on-one approach, consider booking a coaching session. It makes your climb quicker and it makes you improve much faster. Being able to ask me any question that comes to mind during the session and getting a direct answer to those questions are the quickest way to get better at the game. As always, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, you know what I always say. Thank you guys for doing what? Popping often. Well often.